I'm going to be reading a story about probably my favorite and certainly most talked about and played PC, Essus, who is an Abyssus bard. Abyssus is one of my homebrew races. Basically, think Yuan Ti in appearance, but not in culture. My story is called The Child. Daddy, wait! Read me another story first? The little boy lifted his head off of the pillow, violet eyes glittering in the lamplight. The man smiled gently as he turned to face the boy. Another one, S? That'll be the third one tonight. Please, Daddy. If you read The Hero, I promise I won't ask for another one. Please? His pleading was punctuated by a long yawn. All right, S. Just the one more, and then it's time for sleep. He slithered over to the bookshelf, the silver scales on his tail glinting. The Hero, right? Yeah, it's my favorite. The boy laid his head back on the pillow, curling his tail lightly under the blankets. The man took a thick purple book off the shelf, then sat on the corner of the bed, tail coiled loosely on the floor. I know it is, S. It's a good one. He cleared his throat, then opened the well-worn book to a story somewhere in the middle. He found the page quickly, the spine bending familiarly, and began to read. There was once a very brave hero. This hero spent every day fighting terrible monsters. Sometimes these monsters were big monsters, with sharp teeth and pointy claws. Other times they were small monsters, quiet and sneaky and hard to catch. They were always cruel monsters. They were mean and they hurt people. One day, the hero was getting ready to go fight monsters, when the hero's child asked a question. What happens if the monster wins? And the hero sat next to the child and thought. After thinking, the hero said, Then I will lose. But I don't want you to lose, said the child. I don't want to lose either, said the hero. But I might someday. And if that happens, then someone else may have to fight instead. I will fight, said the child. I know you will. And the hero kissed the child on the forehead. The hero then stood up and left to go fight another monster. The man closed the book softly, looking over at the boy. His eyes were closed, gentle breaths ruffling the blankets pulled up to his nostrils. The man stood and slithered to the shelf, putting the storybook back in its place. He moved over to the bedside once more, tucking the boy in carefully. He leaned down and kissed him on the forehead before speaking softly. Good night, Essus. I love you. Then he made his way carefully out of the room, quietly dousing the lamp on his way out. Mom, come on! It's just a Ow! The boy reached a hand up to bat his mother's hands away from his face. Essus, hold still. This cut is not going to heal properly if you don't let me clean it first. She set the washcloth on the table next to them, dark fingertips drumming softly on the table. Her face scrunched up in concern as she looked back at her son's face, a long cut strailing from the bridge of his nose down to his jaw, and then she sighed. Tell me what happened, Des. Mom, it's really nothing. Can I just go read now? He squirmed in the chair, his tail flicking repeatedly against the ground. No, Essus, not until you tell me what happened and I get this cut cleaned. She gave him that look, that one that meant he wasn't going anywhere until he followed instructions. Essus exhaled, deflating slightly, then mumbled under his breath. Speak up, S. I said he was making fun of Saul. She raised an eyebrow. Did you get in a fight? The boy fidgeted uncomfortably. I didn't mean to. He was making fun of Saul because they wore a skirt today. You know, that orange one they like. And I was just trying to stand up for them. Nobody should make fun of somebody else just for being who they are. The woman's face softened, one corner of her mouth curling upwards. S, you're a good person, and your heart is so big, but fighting isn't the way to fix these things, you know. Talk to them, and if they won't listen, try talking to someone else who they will listen to. I tried, Mom. Promise I did. But he does this all the time, not just to Soul. He's just mean. He's mean and he hurts people. His tail slapped down on the ground with a light crack, his face set in frustration. I'm sorry, kiddo. I'm glad you and Soul are all right, though. Now hold still. She reached out with the washcloth and began to clean the dried blood from his cheek, working quickly, despite the boy's squirming. The three of them stood in a park, near the oasis at the center of town, mother, father, and son. The boy, nearly as tall as his mother and already standing over his father, was dressed to the nines in shirt, ascot, and waistcoat, all complementing the glistening purple of his tail. You're going to be fantastic, S. We're proud of you. His father smiled and patted the adolescent on the shoulder. His mother grinned and gripped his forearm gently. Show them what you've got, kiddo. You'll blow them all away. Estes straightened his lavender waistcoat and leaned in to hug them both. Thanks. Just keep your tails coiled for me, all right? Saren isn't going to let me win easily. She's really good. We will, Estes. And don't forget, you're in the finals already. Second place is pretty damn good, S. His father's bright smile widened. I know, Dad, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to work hard to win. I can be happy with what I have and still want more. Ess's grin creeped across his face, making the light dusting of glittery makeup under his brows sparkle in the soft dusk light. That you can, kiddo. The woman leaned over, hugging him tightly. But don't be disappointed if you lose. You've been absolutely fantastic. Gramps told me your dad never did any better than 11th, she stage whispered, a smirk crossing her face. Gramps is a liar and you know it. I placed a very respectable 5th the year all the really talented speakers had scalepox, thank you very much, the man laughed. Esses laughed gently as well, hugging his mother back. Don't worry. If Saren is better than me, then I will lose, and I'll be just fine. I love you both so much. Thank you for everything. Esses stood by the wagon, a satchel over his shoulder, packed with clothes and food. His mother stepped forward and embraced him, squeezing tight. He hadn't ever quite grown that extra inch to match her height, and it was bittersweet in this moment. It made her feel like he was still her little boy. Take care of yourself, kiddo. Be safe, and write as often as you can. I will, Mom, I promise. He hugged back, arms closing around her tightly. Another spoke now from behind his mother, a deeper one that would always remind Esses of staying up too late reading stories. S, are you sure? You're positive? Esses opened his eyes, looking at his father. Yeah, Dad. I'm sure. I need to go. I need to see more, to experience more. He released his mother, smiling up as he did so, then slithered towards his dad. It's your fault, you know. Both of you. You made me the kind of person that wants to do things like get on a wagon to somewhere he's never been just to see it. His father smiled, but it was a smile like a sculpture missing limbs. Proud, but still broken. Oh, S. I know. His vision blurred as he spoke, and then he felt a trickle on his cheeks. Oh, gods, now I'm crying again. He held his arms out and gathered his son close, the boy he once watched slither flat-bellied along his stomach, now standing tall and ready to leave home. Dad, I love you. And I'll be back, I promise. I'm not leaving forever. His arms wrapped around the shorter man, embracing him tightly. Oh, I almost forgot. The silver-tailed man suddenly pulled free of the embrace and leaned over to dig into a bag on the ground next to him. This is something I had made for you as a going-away present. A keepsake. I hope you like it. He pulled a thick tome bound in violet-dyed leather from the bag. The cover stated, very simply, A Book of Tales. He handed it to Esses gingerly. It's yours. It's all of your favorite stories from when you were little. Estes held the book between his hands, feeling the new leather, the fresh pages. His jaw dropped, his eyes wide. How much was this? It doesn't matter, S. It's worth every copper. Estes opened the book to the first page, a brief dedication to him from his parents, then a table of contents, and then the first story. It didn't even fill the first page completely, and the title was similarly short. The Hero. He had to close the book so his tears didn't ruin the pages. Dad, it's perfect. This stays right here in my satchel every single second of every single day, I promise. His father sniffed briefly and put an arm around his mother's waist. Don't let anyone take that from you, eh? I would never. And if anyone tries to take it, I will fight. Estes smiled wide and packed the book carefully into the satchel, between a couple of shirts. Then with one last wave, he clambered into the wagon and set off into the desert sunrise.